Uh, hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to hear me properly as well as there is no problem with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Excuse me. Hello everyone, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to hear me properly as well as there is no problem with the audio or the video, please do let me know, guys. Hello everyone, hello. Hello everyone. I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are facing any problem with the audio or the video, please do let me know. Everything is fine? Okay, great guys, great. Hello everyone, hello. Not a lot of students have joined us up till this particular point of time. I'm just waiting for everyone to join us. Did the information reach to you guys that today we will be having the classes on the WhatsApp groups or the Telegram channels? I had already scheduled the class as well, but did the information reach to you guys on the WhatsApp groups or the Telegram channels? Please do let me know. Hello everyone, guys. Hello. Guys, could you please answer me so that I'm able to understand? Had the information related to the bootcamp shared with you on the WhatsApp groups or the Telegram channel? If I remember it correctly, in the last class we had covered the HTML portion, and now the CSS is left. If I am not wrong, please do let me know, guys. In the last class, I think so, we had covered the HTML portion, and now the CSS part is left, and that is what my aim is today. I will like to cover the CSS portion in today's class. Awesome, guys, awesome. Okay, I'll just wait for 2 more minutes so that if anyone is late, he or she can join us, and then we'll start with our today's class on CSS. Okay. Okay, so let's start with our today's class. Let me just open up the PPT. Just give me a minute. Okay, give me a second. I'll just open up the PPT in the meanwhile. Okay, so why are we using online IDE? Parag, I have already explained it on the first day itself, that many students do not actually have a great laptop, and we need to take that into account while doing stuff as well. So it's our job that everyone is able to complete the entire program, and hence we are using an online IDE so that anyone who is doing it from their mobile phones or who does not has a good laptop is also able to complete the same. Okay. Okay, so we had already discussed about CSS when we started off in the first class itself, that what CSS is. CSS basically is used to decorate your entire website. It provides a beautification to your entire website. That is the use. Think of it as the makeup or the hair, the trimming that you do on your face. So all these different kinds of things is the responsibility of CSS for a particular website to help your website look the best possible. Okay, now the CSS code looks something like this. When you will be looking at any type of CSS code, you will look and it will look something like this. This is how a CSS code is usually figured to as. Okay, you can look at it as SCSS or CSS. Both are two like advanced level CSS is called as SCSS. There is some hierarchy in the same. CSS is the much more basic concept. In the training and bootcamp, of course, we cover both of them, but just for your requirements for learning React, CSS is more than sufficient. Okay, so let's move on. This is how a piece of CSS codes look like. Okay, this is what a small CSS code actually looks like. First of all, we are having your rule set. Okay, so the entire CSS code, a particular block of CSS code is called as a rule set. Okay, this is the name. You need to be very good with the linguistics in any type of programming languages. Okay, you cannot just call it as a block of CSS code. You have to call it as a rule set because that's the name that has been given to you. It won't feel good if I'm calling Shaurya by the name of like something else. That won't feel nice. So that's why you will always need to require to use the correct linguistics, the correct vocabulary when you are dealing with coding. Okay, so any piece, any block of CSS code is called as a rule set. Each rule set has two components inside of it. The first component is the that is the selector. Okay, for example, you need to apply makeup on your cheeks. So first you will have to select the cheek on which you want to apply the makeup. That is the process. Similarly, in building a website as well, you want to put some decoration, you want to put some font color, you want to put some background color over a piece of text, then you will first have to select that HTML tag. You will have to select that text itself. So maybe that particular HTML tag is your H1 tag. So you will have to select the H1 tag. That is the job of the selector. Okay, that is the job of the selector. Are you guys able to understand? Selector selects the HTML tag upon which you want to apply the changes to. And then you are having your declaration block. The declaration block, everything inside of these curly brackets is called as a declaration block. All the changes that you want to apply on that particular selector, all the changes, all the makeup that you want to apply on that particular cheek, that particular selector comes inside this declaration block. Okay, for a declaration block, you just have to specify the property that you want to change and what change that you want to do, and then a semicolon. Okay, that is how the entire thing works. Are you able to understand? I'm just telling you the components of a CSS code. Are you able to understand this, guys? Please let me know. Are you able to understand this, guys? Please let me know, guys. I'm keeping it as simple as possible, guys. I hope see, there are 77 people in the entire section itself. When I'm asking a question, I want to see 77 yes or no, depending upon whether you have understood or not. Because only then I will be able to understand that, okay, you guys are also interested in what I'm teaching. Okay, let's keep it a two-way track. Amazing, guys, amazing. Let's move on to let's look at some simple CSS code and how we can use it. That's very simple. Okay, so first of all, we need to go back to our Chrome browser. We need to open up our code sandbox. Let's go into my code sandbox itself. Let's just create a code environment. Sign in with Google. I'll use a static one. and I will just remove okay, so we are having our index.html. Whatever we don't require, let's just first of all remove it. So I don't require all this. We don't require the language, so this as well. Let's open this on a website, close this. Okay, so first of all, we are having a very simple website, as you are able to see right over here. We have your HTML code, as you are able to see. It just has a title in the head and an h1 element, as you are able to see. And on the website as well, you are able to see that we are having your h1 element on our screen. Okay, so now what our aim is, we need to utilize, okay, give me a second guys. We need to change the h1. So currently the h1 is black by default. We need to change it to green. That is our problem statement using CSS. So first of all, we need to create the CSS file. So we'll create a new file. We'll call this as style.css. Okay, we're going to call it as style.css. Now we have already learned, okay, as you are able to see from right over here, we have already learned how to create a, let me go back, how to create a CSS code. Okay, first of all, we need to specify the selector as of right now. Let's specify the selector first of all. So the selector is the h1 tag that we want to specify, and the changes that we want to do on the h1 tag, let us just check. The change that we want to show on the h1 tag is we need to change it to green color, if I'm not wrong. We need to change the color to green. For that, we just need to write color color. Okay, and then we want to specify green right over here. Okay, so we want to change the color of h1 tag to green. So we created our very first small CSS code, but when I'm going to my website and I'm reloading it, you are able to see that it's still black. Why is that the case? So we wrote the correct code. I'm telling you, this is the correct code, but why has it not changed to the green color? That is because the HTML file is the only file that shows up to your screen. Okay, and the HTML file hasn't specified that it needs to use the CSS file as well. You haven't specified in the HTML file that the CSS file also needs to be used. How to do this? Okay, for example, I don't know, this is something new for me. I don't know how to do this. What we'll do, again, extremely simple. We'll just make a small Google search, CSS file in HTML, and then in that we need to use the external. Okay, so we'll go to the external part, and as you're able to see, it's very simple. We need to use the link. Okay, there are other things as well. Of course, when you are going through the documentation, you will be learning a lot more as well, but our job is to understand, is to know what does like how to do the Google search, how to find particular solutions. So that is what we are going to use right over here. We need to link, we need to attach our CSS file in the HTML file itself, and that needs to be done inside the head. Okay, inside the head you need to use the link and href. So this is so what is the relationship between the current file and the file you want to link? Okay, what is the relationship between the current file, the HTML file, and the file that you want to link, the CSS file? Okay, so that is style sheet. That is the CSS style is the style sheet for the current HTML file. Okay, href, what is the reference to that particular file? So we can directly write style.css, as simple as that. Okay, because it's in the same folder, so we can directly write style.css. We'll save it right over here. We'll go back to our website, reload our page, and it is now in green. As you are able to see, our code is now, like our text is now green in color. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. You can change the color very easily by going into the styles.css and changing it to like any color that you want. If you want to specify a particular color as well, you can change it to a particular color, like as you are able to see. It's the RGB values. I can change it to like blue. I can reduce the temperature as well. And when I will be saving this particular file and reloading my page, that will be the color that will be applied to my text as well. So that is something that you can do. I'm trying to make it as simple for you guys. Are you guys able to understand? Okay, many students are able to understand. That's great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. So let's move on to the next thing that we want to do with CSS. Shit, there were more things. Okay, I guess not. So no issues in that. Next, what we need to understand is the difference between classes and ID. Okay, there are many number of things that you can do with CSS, but I think so for this particular bootcamp you don't require to use that much amount of CSS itself. But the basics, I'm trying to cover most of it so that you are at least, if you are able to see a particular CSS file, you're able to understand what is written right over there. But there are two more things that is very important for you guys to understand, that is class and ID. Okay, so let's try to understand it in this particular way. We are all, so there are like 86 people right now in the live chat. Okay, we are all a part of two classes, so 43 in one class, 43 in the other class. Now if I want to address a particular student, let us say that I want to address Victor. Okay, I want to address Victor right now. So there may be like 2 Victors or even 3 Victors in between those two classes. So there will be a huge problem. Okay, let it be that, okay, I want to address the Victor in class A, but there are 2 Victors in that particular class as well. How will I address them properly? For that, I need to use a roll number system. Okay, I divided them into classes, but still like 43 students had the same class, 43 students had the same class. Okay, 2 batches, each of these 43 students have class A and class B. But if I want to address every single student, then it's better to assign them roll numbers. Okay, it's better to assign them an ID that is just unique to that particular person as well. Similarly, the same things goes on inside of HTML and CSS. So for example, let's say let's take up an example via coding itself. Let's have like okay, so this is H1 right over here. There are 4 H1 on this particular web page. Okay, in each of those H1 tags, okay, I want to have that every alternate tag should be green. Okay, so blue, green, blue, green. Let's take blue, red, blue, red. Okay, this is what I want to have. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4 H1 tags on my screen, as you are able to see. Let's go back to our website. Let's reload the page. There are 4 sentences that you are able to see. I want to have blue, then green, then blue, then green. Now this cannot be done by the normal CSS. Why is that the case? The code that you currently wrote, H1 is of the color, some random color. This code will take up all the H1 tags on the entire website and change their colors. All the elements on the entire website and change their colors to green. And this is not what you want at any particular point of time. This is not what you want. So what can we do? We can put the every alternate tag into a particular class. Okay, we can create a class. So how to create a particular class? So when you are taking up a particular tag, so when you are using the H1 tag in the CSS, you directly write H1. Okay, similarly when you are assigning a class to a particular element, okay, particular tag, you have to use dot in front of the name of that particular tag. As you are able to see, you need to put a dot in front of the name of that particular class. Okay, so let's first of all assign a particular class in the HTML file. So let's say every the first one, so it would be odd, so class, and then I will put it as odd. Okay, so I'm naming the class as odd, and I will put the same class down below as well. Let's see right over here, I'll put the class as odd. Okay, so every alternate class is odd right now, but right now I need to put up that, okay, I need to have a particular clause for the same as well. I need to have a particular style for the same as well. So we have seen the CSS code for class. We need to put dot, okay, and then odd, that is the name of that particular class, and for the same we need to have the code right over here. We need to put the color, okay, we need to put the color as red. Okay, we need to put the color as red. Okay, then we need to save this right over here. When we go back to our website, reload the page, you will be able to see that every alternate color is different. Okay, so this particular line and the first line are of the same class. Now you need to understand the class has greater importance than the H1 tag. Okay, the tag is at the bottom. Okay, the tag is at the bottom, that is the h1 tag. The class supersedes it, and then comes the id. So if a particular tag has a particular class and then id, the most preference will be given to the id, then to the class, and then to the tag. Okay, so if the id suggests a particular color, that is the color that we are going with. Now where does the id comes into being? Okay, where does the id? So we have understood class. When we want to group some particular tags together and assign a particular type of style to that same, we need to use class. But where do we need to use id? Like I said, id is unique. Okay, a single student in the entire school can have the only a single unique id. No two students in the entire school can have the same id. Similarly, no two tags in the entire website can have the same id. Okay, it is always unique to a particular element. So for example, my condition is that the fifth h1 tag, only the fifth h1 tag, no one else. The others will follow the odd even. Only the fifth h1 tag should be of black in color. The fifth h1 tag should be of black in color. So let us do one thing. Let us even put up a even. Okay, dot even. Let's change the h1 tag to even itself. Let's change that to dot even. Another class that we have created right over here. We'll go back to our code and we'll put a new class as even, and similarly we'll just copy paste it down below as well. We will copy paste this entire thing 2 times more just to create more number of things. And for the fifth tag, okay, this is the fifth tag, this is the fifth h1 tag, I need to keep an id as, let's say, ultra. Okay, let's keep the id as ultra, as you are able to see. So only in the fifth tag right over here, I've placed the id as ultra. The rest I have assigned it as your odd and even itself, so that won't be of any concern to you guys. Let me just use the size. As you are able to see, it's odd, even, and then odd, but I'm having an id as ultra, and then again an even. So I'm having like 6 particular h1 tags on my screen right now. I need to provide the CSS for ultra. Now, as you are able to see in the PPT itself, for ID, whenever you are having an ID attribute selector, you need a hash symbol in front of it to specify that yes, this is an ID. Okay, to do that, let's go back right over here, hash, and then you are having your ID as, let's check site description. Okay, so not that, we need to have the ID as ultra. Okay, and we need to fix the color as COLOR, and we need to fix it as black. Okay, and we'll save it right over here. We'll go back to our website, we'll reload the entire thing, and as you're able to see, the fifth, only the fifth, okay, element is black in color. The rest same follows the blue red combination. Are you guys able to understand this? The ID superseded. So if I'm removing the ID from right over here, if I remove the ID from right over here, okay, it supersedes. So if I'm removing the ID, reloading the page, you'll be able to see that it's still like red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. But if I'm going back and inserting the thing once again, okay, let's just put it right over here, just save it, go back to our website and reload it. ID supersedes the class as well, but ID can only be used once. Once the ID has been used, once the ultra ID has been used, the next ID that I can create is like ultra 1, ultra 2 or something like that. I can name it anything, but I cannot use the word ultra. I cannot have another ID called as ultra. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know in the live chat, guys. Are you guys able to understand up till here? Please let me know in the live chat. I'm able to proceed accordingly, guys. Okay, I had a very general question to ask to you guys. If somebody is a non-vegetarian, do you really put potatoes in like while making chicken or something like that at your home? Because this, I came to Bangalore for the first time, and here I'm able to see like they put potatoes in like chicken masala or something like that. Like, is this something that happens on your home as well? Because like this is something new to me. I've heard about putting potatoes in mutton, but like this is something that is new to me. Yeah, I also felt like I've never seen this before. I was traumatized while eating. Like, why is there a potato with my chicken? Okay, so like many of the students are telling me that I'm fine, like there's no problem with me. The problem was with the food itself. Okay, great. No issues, man. So let's continue with the same. Some fun is also needed while like learning. Otherwise, what will be the fun at the end of the day? Okay, so let's move on with the same. So some of the developer tools that you need to understand. Okay, this is not something that we'll be using per se, but if you are learning CSS, you need to know, when you are making websites, you need to understand the concepts of like measurement while making a particular website, because your website needs to look good. If it looks like shit, then nobody is going to use it. Okay, let's take up one example. Let's say, let's go to devtown.in. So this is our website. Okay, everything looks so clean. We have made everything properly. There should be no issues. Everyone is able to see everything properly, and it feels good when using the entire website. And if you go to some other website, I don't know, like some shitty website like Microsoft Edge itself, like what is this? Like, I don't want to use this type of website and anywhere in the future as well. This does not looks good while using. So that's the thing, like you need to make sure that your website looks appealing to the users that you are aiming at. Okay, if it does not looks appealing, then there's no point of making the website as well. Okay, so let's try to understand here. Okay, so while in your daily life, when you measure length of anything, you will use miles or kilometers or feet or meters or centimeters or millimeters or something like that. These are the units that you usually refer to while measuring a particular length. Okay, but when it comes to a particular website, by building websites, you usually refer to this length in pixels or percentages and not these units. You will refer to them as pixels or percentage. We'll try to understand these concepts in a bit depth as well. Let's first try to relate it to a particular example. So there are two type of measurements in while making a particular website. It's absolute and relative. Okay, when you go for absolute measurements, you say that okay, this road is 8 meters wide. Okay, this road is 8 meters wide. And when you look at relative, you will say that okay, this particular road is 2 cars wide. Okay, this particular road is 2 cars wide. Okay, so that is the difference between absolute and relative measurements. Let's try to understand it a bit more. So right over here, we have having an absolute measurement. When you are referring to absolute measurement, you will say that okay, the width of this particular element is 400 pixels. Okay, I've already told you guys that the entire screen, anything that you're using, whether you're using an iPad, whether you're using a tablet, mobile phone, TV, desktop, laptop, anything that has a screen, okay, a monitor, that will be made up of pixels. When you're being very close to your TV or something like that, you will be able to see some square elements in your entire screen. These square elements are called as pixels. Your entire screen is made up of these pixels. So now I'm saying that a particular element is 400 pixel wide. That means it will take 400 pixels of that particular screen. Okay, that's the absolute measurement, that okay, 400 pixels, that's the fixed width of that particular button or something like that. But in case of relative, I will say that okay, I want the element to be 40% of the width of the screen. So if I am on my laptop, it will be 40% of the width of the screen of my laptop. If I am on my phone, it will be 40% of the width of my phone. If I am on my TV, it will be 40% of the width of my TV. So depending upon the device, depending upon the display that you are using, depending upon how wide it is, that would be the button will vary consistently. It won't always remain only 400 pixels, whether it be on your phone or TV or your laptop or your iPad. It will differ because it is 40% the width of something. Are you able to understand this difference between absolute and relative? Please let me know, guys. Are you able to understand this difference between absolute and relative? Amazing, guys. Amazing. So I will just tell you about some of these absolute and relative measurements that we are having. So first of all, we talked about pixels. So that per se is according to pixels itself. We have millimeter, inches, and centimeters. So that I don't have to define for you. I already assume that you know what is a millimeter, inches, and centimeter. That is the absolute measurement units that you can use in CSS. Some of the absolute measurement units that you can use in CSS. In relative, you are having your percentage, your EM, VW, and VH. We are going to learn about the relative ones right now. What is the percentage? What is the EM? What is the VW? What is the VH? We'll try to understand each one of them so that you are able to use them in the future as well. Okay. So CSS relative units. These are the 4 relative units that you are going to use. First of all is the EM. It is relative to the font size of the EM. Okay, so if you are having a font size of 18, if you are writing 2 EM, font size is equals to 2 EM, that will change the font size to 2 times the original size, that is 2 times 18, that is 36. Okay, let's try to understand this via an example. Let's go back to our code. Let's remove all the h1 tag from right over here. Let's convert the h1 tag to a p tag, that is a paragraph tag. Let's save it right over here. Go back to our website, reload the page. As you are able to see, this is normal paragraph tag that you are able to see on our screen right now. Default measurements, nothing too fancy. In the CSS, I will remove everything and put up a p tag. I want to change the style of the p tag. I want to change the font size. Okay, I want to change the font size. Okay, what is the font size? The font size is your size of your font. Okay, that is how 16 pixels or 18 pixels or something like that. And I want to apply, let's say 2 EM. Okay, I want to save it right over here. So let's look at our website right now. This is the current size, the default size of the paragraph tag. As soon as I will reload this particular page, this will become twice the original size. Now it has become twice the original size, as you are able to see. Similarly, if I was writing 4 EM, it would now become the double of the current size. Okay, this is the current size, that is 2 EM. We can get it doubled again by writing 4 EM. So if I am running this right now, it is 4 times the original size and 2 times the previous size. Okay, this is what I'm trying to make you guys understand. Are you able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Yes, I will share the PDF on all the WhatsApp groups as well as the Telegram channel today itself. Okay, today or tomorrow, because almost the CSS portion is also done. So I will be sharing the PDF on all the WhatsApp groups as well as the Telegram channel by today or tomorrow. Okay. Okay, great. So that is the use of EM. EM is in terms of the font size itself. Now let us look at VW. Okay, let us look at VW. What is view width? Okay, viewport width. Okay, the full form of VW is viewport width. Okay, first of all, we need to understand what is a viewport. Everything that you're able to see on your screen, okay, that is the viewport. Okay, if I'm reducing this browser from right over here, I'm making it smaller and smaller. Now this is the viewport width. Okay, this is the viewport width. Let me just remove this from the background. So this entire portion is your viewport width. Okay, as you are able to see. Similarly, if I am increasing it, now I am increasing the viewport width, and the maximum viewport width is the width of your entire screen. Okay, so depending upon whether you are on your phone, TV, laptop, iPad, it will have different, and whether you are using it in a minimized format or a maximized format, it will have different kinds of viewport width. Okay, so if I want to change the viewport width of a particular element, that is in relation to this width itself, how much percentage of this width is that particular element. So for example, if I'm writing 40%, that is 40% of the viewport width of that particular element. So let us try to understand this. Can we change that? EM means we change the size by proportional to multiplication. Yes, but you need to add one more thing, that it's proportional to the multiplication of the original size of the element. Okay, not the current size. So maybe it's 2 EM right now. When I'm writing 4 it won't become like the current size into 4, that is 8 times the original size. It will be 4 times the original size itself. Please remember this. Okay, let us go back to our website. We need to change this to EVW. Okay, let's change the let's say let's include a font size, and we'll change it to VW. Let us just check VW right over here, and we'll change it to like 10% of VW. Okay, let's save it right over here. So let's take it at like 5%. Okay, 5% of viewport width. Okay, we have put it up as 5% of viewport width. Let us reload this particular page. So this is the viewport width right now. Let us minimize it. As you're able to see, with the minimization, the size of my text also gets smaller and smaller. It will remain the 5% of the viewport width. Whatever is the width right now, that will be the size. 5% of that would be the size of my text. Okay. Similarly, the other concept that exists is viewport height. Okay, whatever is the current height, okay, whatever is the current viewport height of that particular page, that will be the size. For example, if I am reloading this particular page from right over here, you are able to see the 5% of the height of the entire screen. That is the viewport, that is the size of this particular text. If I am putting it and I am reducing the width, you will be able to see that the height does not get involved. Okay, because right now the size is according to the viewport height. The viewport height isn't changing, only the viewport width is changing. So the size does not get changed. But as soon as I'm reducing the viewport height, you will be able to see that the size also gets reduced. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. Amazing, guys, amazing. Now the last one that is left, okay, is the percentage. Okay, so percent is in respect to the parent element. Okay, we have already looked at, yes, one element can contain multiple elements inside, multiple tags. One tag can contain multiple tags inside of it. So similarly, percentage, instead of looking at the entire view width or view height, it focus upon the parent element. So 50% of the parent element, that is the size of the current element. Okay, whatever is the parent element, whether it be a div tag, whether it be an image, whether it be a text, anything, it would be 50% of that. See, percentage is something that I don't want to dive into right now because it's not so useful for you, but try to understand this, that if there was a box, okay, and there was an element inside that box, if I put it up as size is 50% of that box, okay, so if I'm reducing the size of the box, the size of the element will also get reduced, but changing the size of the window won't make any difference because the box still remains the same size. Okay, the percentage depends upon the parent element. Okay, so let's try to understand this as you are in a particular house. Okay, you are in a particular house and I'm like making your house smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, that will affect you, but if I'm making a society a bit smaller, that won't affect you at all. Okay, because you are living in your own house. Okay, the size of the society does not matter. The size of a house will be something that will matter to you. The size of your bed will be something that will matter to you the most. Okay, if I'm reducing the size of your bed, then you will have like little to little space to rest upon. Okay, that is what I'm trying to make you guys understand. Are you able to understand? Like, don't go into percentage right now. This is not something, this is not a CSS class. I'm just trying to cover the basics so that we can start with the React.js portion. Okay. Okay, usually a particular pixel is 1 by 96th of an inch. Okay, usually the size of a particular pixel is 1 by 96th of an inch. Okay, that is, there are 96 pixels in 2.54 centimeters. Okay, there are 96 pixels in 2.54 centimeters. This is a rough calculation because right now you are having a mini LEDs, you are having a different type of OLED and AMOLED displays that have increased the pixel densities to vast extents. But usually when you refer to a normal pixel, then that is usually about 96 pixels in 2.54 centimeters itself. Okay. Okay, are you guys able to understand up till here? We won't dive deep into CSS. That is something that we'll be covering in another bootcamp. I'm planning to have a bootcamp on like making an Netflix clone, okay, basic Netflix clone landing page using HTML and CSS. I'm thinking upon having a bootcamp, a 7 days bootcamp on the same bill. I will be covering HTML, CSS in a bit more depth. And then as for the project, we will be making your Netflix website landing page itself. How is that for a boot camp, guys? Would you be interested in a particular boot camp, something like that? In the training program, we actually make the entire Zomato clone, like whatever the back end, front end, deployment, orchestration, everything we cover for the entire Zomato application itself. But for the bootcamp, I need to keep it a bit smaller. So I'm thinking about a landing page for Netflix using HTML and CSS. How is that for an idea? Can someone let me know? Yes, you can use EM, VW, VH at the same time, but please remember you will have to have like a height, width, and breadth for a particular element. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Like the next bootcamp is on Node.js. After that, I'm planning to keep the bootcamp on like a Netflix clone using HTML and CSS. I think so. That would be something that students might be eager and interested to participate as and well. Okay. Let's move on to the next bit. Okay, so we have already covered your HTML and CSS as of this particular moment. Tomorrow we are going to start with JavaScript. We'll be covering JavaScript tomorrow. We are not going into that depth, but I think so it would be covered in tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and then we'll be going into React. React will be doing a bit of theory and directly into the project, because we'll be practicing and learning at the same point of time. Okay, because there's not a lot of theory in React.js, it's more practice and practicals that we have to do. So we'll directly diving deep into the project and we'll be learning along the way. Okay, so that in that way you are also not wasting your time and you are able to learn both the theory as well as the practical at the same point of time. Okay, I'll just share the Google form with you for today's attendance. Give me a second. So can someone let me know, is today the day 4 if I'm not wrong? Am I right? Today is day 4 if I'm not wrong. Okay. Okay, one more thing, guys. If you want to join the Campus Ambassador program, we are going to start off with the Campus Ambassador program from tomorrow. Okay, so if you want to join the Campus Ambassador program, the link is in the like attendance form itself. Do fill out the link. Okay, if you want to join the Campus Ambassador program, it is going to start from tomorrow. It's a paid internship. Okay, you will be able to earn money as well as a lot of goodies from our end and from various companies as well, so that you are able to join the same. If you want to join, do let me know. Just like fill out the form, and from tomorrow you will be onboarded. Okay, so let me just increase the size of the link. Okay, you guys can take a screenshot of the link and then please fill it up on time. It is day 4 attendance link for today. Fill it up on time and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, guys. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. We'll meet tomorrow. And please, if you guys want, do join the Campus Ambassador program. It will be great to meet you guys there. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.